Hi, my name is Roger. Welcome to my dashboard project presentation. The first question I want to address is, what are the total U.S. sales versus U.K. sales with projections? I felt that this was the most important question and thus occupies the top right corner of the dashboard. I started to answer this question by creating a pivot table that allowed me to select the UK and the USA, and I wanted the information on a quarterly basis, and I wanted the sum of all sales. Once I had this information, I created a feeder chart and then added my projection line. The projection line used the formula of the previous quarter sales times 1/4 of 8% added to the previous quarter sale. The 1/4 of 8% will give me the growth of 8% a year. This provides the lines for projected growth of 8% a year as stated in the raw data page. I wanted to add a checkbox to allow the end user to be able to manipulate the data as they wish. This required another feeder chart that used the following statement: if A17 equals true, then B13, otherwise NA. This statement makes the lines disappear if the checkbox is not checked, and if it is checked, the lines will be there. This allows the manager to compare USA versus UK figures or USA versus USA projections, whatever the manager would like to compare. With this information, my conclusion is that both divisions are doing very well with stated goals. The second question to be addressed was, for the last 3 years, what was each year's percentage of total sales? Again, based upon the placement, you can tell that I thought this to be an important question also. The reason I thought this is so important is because it will give you a quick trend analysis of sales over those 3 years. I again started with a pivot chart. This time I eliminated the UK by placing the country in the report filter section of the pivot table field list. I inserted the products into the column, inserted years and quarters into the row labels. In the value, I used sum of units sold. This gives me a chart that shows on a quarterly basis what was sold for each type of product. I then created a feeder chart. This chart calculated the sum of each product sold and then multiplied by retail and then subtracted the sum of the products sold times the cost of products to give me the net profit for the products by year. I then summed the columns to give the net profit per year for the data that we had. I thought this would be interesting to use the speedometer charts to provide a unique visual presentation of this material. At this point, I admitted that after many hours trying to do it by the book, I was ready to quit. It worked, just not as well as I had hoped, and it sure was difficult to move after I created the final product. Then I stumbled on a YouTube video which did it in a different way but made it so easy. As Professor Mattia said, there are many ways to complete a task in Excel. This chart, then placed prominently on the dashboard, will allow the manager to see what, with labels, the percentage of net sales per year of the 3-year total. The manager, looking at these figures, has to figure that the division is doing well. The last question that I want to talk about is show individual sales performance against a goal on a monthly basis. I selected this one because it has so much detail involved in the analysis section, but it is such an easy chart to interpret. Again, I started with a pivot chart that has the country in the report filter section and the order date in the column section, salesperson and products in the rows section, and sum of units sold in the value section. From there, I created a feeder chart that shows sum of units sold by salesman by product. Next is another feeder chart that gives me profits by person and product. Another feeder chart gave me the cost by person and product. And the last chart gave me net profit. As you can see, these charts are very difficult to understand and interpret, but I'll show you what we did to correct that. Then, using this choose function here, I created another feeder chart that would allow me to choose what person and product I wanted to look at, and also what was the median sales for the month was. The median was what I used for goals for the salesman. I created a bar chart that utilizes a list box to give the manager a chance to see each sales performance for each product. This chart indicates to the manager that while the division is as a whole is doing well, there is certainly room for improvement in the individual sales performance on a monthly basis. If you take those three charts along with the other charts that you can see on my dashboard presentation, there's plenty of information in this chart that would allow the manager to make an intelligent decision on anything that he may need to do to increase the profits of the company. Thank you. Have a good day.